Hey everybody, it's Dina Rico and welcome to the Creativity Cave. I'm thrilled to be stamping with you today because I have this adorable card and I just love it. But wait, just wait, there's more. Are you ready? Can you handle it? Are you sure? Look at this. So I've made this cute little like folding dolls center and this adorable card front. So I'm going to show you exactly how to put this together. It's really pretty simple. There's a little bit of punching, I'm not going to lie, but it's so dang cute. And it uses one of my favorite stamp sets from the holiday catalog, which is, oh, I gotta put some markers on top of it. The Cookie Cutter Christmas, which of course has the coordinating punch that punches out all of these adorable shapes. And I just love it. And then I created this accordion kind of folded reindeer, and I added this Christmas hat to one of the reindeer, which kind of messed up my process. Let's see. Well, it's not so bad. But isn't that cute? It's just so fun. I love when there's a surprise on the inside of our cards, and I think people love seeing that too. It's so fun, and it's unexpected, and it's awesome. So let me show you how to put this together. It is pretty easy, despite the fact that I'm messing with this right now. But let me show you how I did this. So I like the fact that even if I make a more complicated card, I can kind of share with you how it comes together. All right, now all the dimensions and supplies and good stuff will be on my blog, so please check that out. I'll also have links to my online store in the description of this video, as well as links to my blog, so check out the description for all of that good stuff. I'm going to start with a half a sheet of real red cardstock, and then I'm going to set that aside for the time being. I'm going to prepare the background quick because it is really easy. I'm going to bring in a piece of scrap paper though to stamp. And I am using a few different stamp sets, and I think this is one of those things where if you don't have kind of the extraneous stamps, use what you do have. The key stamp set here, of course, is the Cookie Cutter Christmas. So first of all, I'm using, these are the little sprinkly snow stamp images from Christmas Pines. Okay, so if you don't have that set, I'm sure you probably have a snowflake or something you can use in place of this somewhere along the lines. So that just created my background. Then I'm going to take a scrap piece of paper. You can see I did this for my card, and I'm going to just freehand cut a snowbank. That's what I was trying to say. I wanted to say swirl, but I'm like, no, that's not right. Okay, so I'm just going to freehand cut this, and it doesn't have to be perfect at all. In fact, it doesn't even really matter what it looks like. It's just a snowbank to kind of be there and kind of hold the place of the ground for our snowman and our Rudolph, actually. Okay, so I'll adhere this down and adhere this down. Okay. Then next for this, I'm going to make my reindeer. Okay, so whenever I stamp my reindeer, I'm going to stamp them upside down so that when I go to punch them, they will fit perfectly in my Cookie Cutter Christmas punch, which I love. And then when I stamp them, I want to leave a little space between so that you can see there's room for the punch stuff on the edge to not cut off what you've stamped. I know this because the first one I had to slice all of these apart because I stamped them too close. So you can benefit from my experience. Okay. And then last but not least, I'm going to create the reindeer legs. All right, so I've got all of my reindeer now. I need 9 total reindeer, 8 for the inside. In case you're wondering, 8, that's like Donner, Blitzen, Vixen, Prancer, etc. Okay, but then I also need 1 for the front, which is going to be Rudolph. Now to make Rudolph, I need a couple more pieces. So I have the first reindeer. Then I'm going to take my, by the way, I stamped him in early espresso. Then I'm going to take and stamp the gingerbread man in early espresso. a couple of times. I need some more crumb cake scraps. I have a great amount of crumb cake left over because in my Day in the Creativity Cave class last week, we did a special project. We made a little card portfolio with some crumb cake cardstock, and I had to trim this much off of every sheet. So yay. I always love finding a good purpose for my scraps because I just can't throw them out. I do throw some out, but you know how it is. Okay. I know you crafters, you don't like throwing anything away. Okay. So now I have 2 of these, but of course I don't need the entire thing, especially the arms. So I'm going to actually just kind of cut this off. So I'm cutting off basically at the neck, but I'm leaving kind of around a little semicircle so that I have something to adhere to my reindeer. Okay, and then I'll just offset the 2 like this a little bit. Okay, because then that looks like all 4, well, you can see all 4 legs. So that's good. And then I also need a rainbow, what am I thinking? I need a sparkly Rudolph nose. Now to do that, I have a scrap of some red glimmer paper, and I'm going to take my Rudolph nose and just stamp him on the edge here. I don't need the whole reindeer, I just need part of it. And also this is not going to dry because there's kind of this weird coating on the back of glimmer paper, if you've never noticed. So what I'm going to do is cut this out and then kind of wipe off that excess. Now, this is really important because this is not the first one of these I did either. What I did was I actually am cutting a little bigger than the nose itself, and that is so that when I go to adhere it on top of the nose I stamped over here, it will cover the whole thing and there won't be like a brown part of his nose showing. So that's kind of important. When I first did it, it looked kind of stupid. I won't lie. Okay. And then I'm just going to grab a tissue and kind of wipe the rest of that ink off, just because, like I said, it's never going to dry because there's that sort of plastic coating film on the back. Okay, so let's put all this together. First of all, I think glue dots work great, although this is so darn kind of, I hate to use the word moist, but it's a little moist. Okay, it's the glue dot stuck, so that is good. Okay, so I've adhered the glue dot to his snout. Then I'm going to take and adhere the 2 pieces of the gingerbread man to create the legs of the reindeer. So I've got that. And then I'm going to put him on top. Now, I think he's cute like this, but he's even cuter when you cock his head to the side. I don't know what it is. It's just, that's what happens. If you remember last year, I did a really cute reindeer tutorial, and I will link that on my blog to an adorable reindeer that I made with punches. Of course, that one was also super cute, especially when we cocked his head to the side just a little. I don't know why, it is. Okay, so I'm going to put a dimensional, whatever these things are called, on the body, and then I'm going to put one further up more towards the antenna. Actually, I don't want to take this one off yet, though. Kidding. Okay, and then I'll just cock his head to the side slightly. Okay, so there is my reindeer. Then I have pre-stamped and punched out, or colored in, I should say. Oh my gosh, look at what I did. Bad Santa. He's got not white cuffs. That's kind of funny. Okay, well, we might not put this one on the final card, but you get the idea. Don't color. This is like naughty Santa. Oops. Yeah, so we'll just set him here for a place marker, and then when you do yours, you can leave his cuffs Santa white. Okay, so then I've got these on here. I'll, of course, pop my Santa up, and then I've got my reindeer, and then the greeting is from a great stamp set, which I think I put away before I started shooting my video. Let me grab it. It's, here we go. It is the Tin of Tags stamp set. It goes with that cool tin in the holiday catalog that has stuff to make all those gift tags, which I potentially will do a video on soon. It's in my queue anyway. Okay, and then I have a little scrap. I think this is the right one. Yes. So I can stamp that down. I guess I can adhere him since he's done. I'll just put some adhesive on his butt. And then, did you see where I smudged a little? We can totally cover that smudge up. Yay. Okay. And then to do my little sign, I'm going to stamp from the tin of cards. Oh dear. Here we go. There is my stamp. Warm wishes and mistletoe kisses, which I think is super sweet. So I thought this would be cute if it was kind of on a flag. So that's why I stamped it that way. I'm going to punch this out with my triple banner punch. So I've kind of got the little flag going. I'm going to trim the excess of this off, and then we'll adhere it to, this is so not straight. Don't you hate when that happens? Me too. Trying to line it up on something, but that's not working. Okay. What I'm going to do is adhere it with glue dots to my card, and I'm going to use a toothpick. So the toothpick will be a cute little stick, if you will. Okay, so I've put a couple glue dots at the bottom, and then I'm going to take my toothpick, you know, from my stamping supply of toothpicks that I got at the dollar store. Don't you like that? Do you guys have like supplies for things at home just for stamping that you normally use like for other stuff in your home, you know, like toothpicks? You have crafting toothpicks? Okay, so my warm wishes and mistletoe kisses will go under my Santa. I really just want to say something about these cuffs, and it's so inappropriate. Oh my gosh, I just won't say it. I don't want to offend anybody. Okay, so there is his sign, and this will be a pop dot will hold this, or dimensional will hold this onto my card. Okay, now to do the inside. That's actually one of the easiest parts of this whole card. So let me show you what I did. So I need 8 of my reindeer. So there's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to, they're going to go together every other one, you know, accordion style. So I am going to flip the ear over and kind of line the hand up and flip the ear over. And then I just want to make sure that they line up just perfect. Okay, so the only thing I'm going to glue is on the flap of ear right here. Okay, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then I'll speed up the film. Okay, so I have my 8 reindeer, and I just want to make sure that if there's any adhesive that's kind of touching on the back, that I rub that off with my adhesive remover. That'll just prevent things that you don't want sticking from sticking, so that's important. Okay, then I'm going to take my card, and I want the card to open so that when it's, well, actually, I should say I want the card to close. So I want to line things up, and then that's how I place the reindeer. Okay, so let me show you that one more time. I'm going to place this right here and then here, and I know that's where I want them to go. So I'm just going to hold one reindeer ear and then the other reindeer ear. That will indeed work. And like you might want to make sure it'll fold up all, or it will open up all the way. Okay, so that's kind of your placement. So I, again, am going to just adhere another ear, nothing more, just the ear. And I'll do one side and then I'll position it and then I'll do the other side, okay? So I know it was about there. And then I'm going to close this up and adhere this ear. And we want to give it a good press so that when we open it up, it will open all the way. Isn't that awesome? So cute. Okay, so there's just a couple more steps to finish this card off. One is that I'm going to use the little, I don't even know what this punch is called, like hat builder or something. I'm not sure. It'll be in the directions. But it's the Christmas hat punch. And I thought it would be really cute if we punched it. So I'm going to do the brim in white and the little pom-pom in white, and then I will do the rest in red. Just had to find a scrap of red. Okay, and then I'll adhere those together. Now I found glue to be the easiest to put this together because I didn't want, and actually we're going to put it on this way. I didn't want the adhesive sticking so that things would not move, you know. Okay, so I've got the brim on. I'm going to do the same thing. I'll add just a little glue to the tip of my hat and attach that. Okay, and then I found I wanted him on the second reindeer, because that just worked out better. You need to have the hat kind of sit right above the ears, and that's where if the brim falls down a little bit, that's what I like about glue, is you got a little wiggle room as far as positioning things. So you can have the brim come down a little bit, and then it'll fit right on there. I also popped it up, which I found helped kind of keep things positioned properly. So I'm going to put the pop dot up as high as I can on his head and not go over the antler space. Okay, and do you see how I kind of moved his antlers like that? Isn't that cute? Oh my gosh. So now in this case, I found that I didn't necessarily do the whole accordion closure, because that way it opened a little bit better with the hat and it didn't like smoosh up the hat. But if you don't do the hat, then the accordions are kind of perfect. Okay, so that's it. And when, of course, when all is said and done, this is what it looks like. It opens up to be so cute, and you have just an adorable card. Oh, let me add one last thing. The From All of Us, just put on a little scrap of paper here. Now this is from the set One Big Meaning, and I think I have shown you the rest of the stamp many times, so you can see thank you from all of us. I cut those two stamps apart. You may remember I did that in a video a long time ago. And you can see there's the rest. I don't use this all the time, but I wanted something cute to go on the inside of my card, and I thought this was kind of perfect. So Santa and Rudolph, and then all the reindeer are wishing you a Merry Christmas. Okay, so I just did that. And then, of course, I'll punch off the ends and adhere it into my card. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. Please, if you needed to purchase any of these things to make this adorable card, I would love it if you would shop my online store. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, thank you so much for joining me, and happy stamping, guys. Bye!